Welcome to East Alabama Today, featuring topics, events, and interesting people from all over East Alabama. Hosted by Carl Brady. Now, let's get right to the show. Here's Carl Brady.
Hello, everyone. Welcome into East Alabama Today. I'm Carl Brady. Thanks for being with us on today's program. As usual, we'll start you off with some contact information, let you know what you need to do to get in touch with us here at the show. Now, you know, you guys are our eyes and ears out on the streets. We want to know what's going on in your community. Our base coverage area is the 9-county East Alabama area. So you let us know what's going on in your community, and you never know, you may find it featured here on East Alabama Today. And to send me information about those special events, fairs, festivals, things like that that are going on, nonprofit organizations that you're a part of, send me that information to my email, cbrady@tv24.tv, cbrady@tv24.tv. Now, we also want to know about the interesting people in your community. Maybe you know someone who's a writer, an artist, or a musician. Maybe they have an odd or an interesting hobby and you think they'd be a great guest for the program. Those are exactly the people we're looking for. So send me their information as well at cbrady@tv24.tv. And now remember, East Alabama Today on demand on the brand new, completely remodeled TV24 website, tv24.tv. Go to the On Demand tab, look for East Alabama Today among all of the other shows that you can find on demand, and see your favorite show right there on tv24.tv. Stay with us. We'll be back with today's show, and we'll get started in just a moment. Welcome back into East Alabama Today. I'm Carl Brady. We thank you for being with us on today's program. Today, a very interesting topic. We're going to be talking about making movies in Alabama, and specifically here in East Alabama. And our guest today is Mr. Richard Evans. Richard, welcome to the program.
How you doing, sir?
Great to have you on. Richard is with Black Creek Productions, a newly formed company here in East Alabama that is all about filmmaking and making movies and TV shows here in East Alabama, and we'll get into all the details. But basically, you're going to be you're a logistics company. You're helping filmmakers find the resources that they need to make a movie in Alabama.
That's correct, Carl. What we do is we're building a database of locations to film. Our primary location being the old steel mill, the old Fort McClellan site. And just any interesting location we have here. We've got so many beautiful areas in Alabama to film. We've got DeSoto Falls, we've got Nakalula Falls, we've got Little River Canyon. A lot of people don't know it's the deepest gorge east of the Mississippi. So it has appeal to filmmakers, and we've had films made in Alabama. A few years ago, Failure to Launch was shot in Cherokee County, and some of it was shot in Gadsden. And you know, of course, we want the big people to come here, but what I have discovered in my research and starting Black Creek Productions is that we have a trove of people here that are already making films.
Yeah. That's something that I was surprised as you and I have been talking over the last few weeks, is finding out how many people are independent filmmakers that are operating right here in East Alabama, and some of them making really nice movies. As with anything else, I've seen some stuff that's a little bit and then some other stuff that's like, this should really make it to Hollywood and be on the big screen. So we have some extremely talented people around here.
Yes, we do, and we've got a lot of people who are experienced, and they have just, for whatever reason, decided not to publicize what they're doing. You know, privacy issues. They don't want to be you know, overran by people who think they have the greatest movie ever written. You know, and it's, you cannot take unsolicited scripts. People have to understand that if you have a script and you want to pitch it to a production company, they won't take it 9 times out of 10 because of liability issues. They don't want to make a movie that's similar and then have someone come back and say, well, you know,
you copied my idea.
You grabbed my idea.
Right.
So it's very difficult to actually pitch a script to a established company. But there are several folks in the area. Rick Montana has made some fantastic commercials for the Navy. There's Jerry Ramsey, who has done films that are on YouTube, and I think he has a distribution company. He sells them. Rick sells his own films. Getting a movie out there used to be a very, very difficult proposition. You had to find a company who would distribute it for you, and they were very picky about what they distributed. So we hope through our connections to be able to not only make movies in the area, but distribute them worldwide without going through the hoops that Hollywood goes through, or that you would go through if you went through Hollywood.
Yeah, with the internet now, there are so many avenues of distributing your product now. You don't have to have a major deal with a Hollywood production house anymore.
That's right.
You can distribute your own on your own website. You can do it on YouTube, and if you get enough interest on YouTube, then Hollywood might come knocking at your door if you can generate some interest. But I think a lot of independent filmmakers aren't necessarily looking for Hollywood to come knocking. I think they like being outside the establishment and outside the confines of what Hollywood expects of a movie.
I think that is very true. You know, I came into this with the understanding that it was going to be difficult. I did not realize how difficult it would be to deal with the established Hollywood sources out there. They don't take phone calls, or they won't return phone calls, or they have someone answering phones who tell you have to go through all these changes to even get an audience with anybody out there. Now, in all fairness, I'm sure they get thousands and thousands of inquiries per week or whatever, but I've always been in the opinion that you should at least give somebody 2 minutes of your time to at least try to understand what they want to do and what they're offering you. So what I've done is I've decided to organize the local filmmakers. We're going to start our own production company to do movies. Black Creek Productions will stand alone as a logistics company. We'll still help people that want to come in here from the outside, but our other company will be established just to produce our own independent films and to help other people who have the scripts and stuff like that who want to join us. Then they can come in under us and we'll just make movies. And you know, we'll make the best movies we can make with the resources we have. And as we grow, we'll be able to afford the B and A-list actors that demand the big salaries.
Right. Now let's talk about the logistics part of Black Creek Productions. When you're talking about logistics, when a movie production company, say a large production company, does come to you and says, okay, we're interested in shooting a movie, what are the things that they need that you're going to help provide?
Well, they need everything from porta potties all the way up to they may need a production facility with a green screen. Longleaf Productions in Jacksonville, Alabama, which is a part of JSU, has that. We don't have to build that now. That's an expense we don't have to incur. We can offer them that. If they need prop vehicles, we have a big network of antique car collectors. I'm a military vehicle collector. I have a huge network of associates that can provide just about anything we need as far as the military goes. One of my friends is providing all of the props for The Walking Dead. All of the military props you see on Walking Dead, Drew provides those. So if they tell me they need a specific location, if they need creepy, well, we've got creepy out at the old steel plant. If they need scenic, well, we have Nakalula Falls and some of the other places that I mentioned. If they just need an ordinary house, I put out feelers with some of the local real estate companies, and I've told them, you know, if you have a client that has a house for sale and it's sitting there empty and there's not making any money and it's not selling, and you're willing to rent it out or lease it out for movie production, we can make that work.
Right.
Caterers, hairdressers, wardrobe. A lot of times these people do not want to bring everything they need with them. Now they'll bring some of the stuff with them, but when they don't want to bring everything they got from Hollywood, California. So what we would do with our network of folks is we would just put them together with the local resources.
And that includes carpenters, plumbers, people who are set builders, painters.
Exactly.
It's amazing when you really get to thinking about it, of the logistics of all the things that a movie production would need when they get here. We always think about the actors and the extras, and do I get to be in the crowd scene? Do I get to walk behind the star while they're doing an outdoor scene, that kind of thing? But all of the people behind the scenes is what puts this together. When you look at the credits at a movie, the credits go on for 10 minutes after the end of the movie of all the people who helped make it happen.
Yep, and I use a comparison to the military. For every combat soldier you got out there who is shooting at the bad guys, you got 8 or 10 guys back there supporting him, bringing him beans and bullets. Well, it's the same with a movie production. For every actor you've got out there in front of the screen or in front of the camera, you have a makeup artist, you have a wardrobe technician, you have sound, you have lighting, you have the people who are running the cameras, you have stunts. The list goes on and on of stuff that needs to be provided for not only a big name production, but for a small guy, for an independent to come in. A lot of people who start making movies realize real quick that they're going to run into a logistics issue just on stuff that they need.
Well, let's take a quick commercial break right there and remind you real quick that if you want to learn more about Black Creek Productions after the show, they have a great website that really details a lot of the things we're talking about, blackcreekproductions.com. You can search them on Facebook and find them on Facebook as well. But we'll get into more of those things when we come back. Stay with us as we continue with East Alabama Today. We welcome you back into East Alabama Today. Again, I'm Carl Brady. Richard Evans is my guest with Black Creek Productions. We're talking about making movies in Alabama. Black Creek Productions is a new filmmakers logistics company, helping people in the film industry find locations and find all the things that they need to make a movie in East Alabama. And speaking of locations, you've mentioned a couple just briefly. You have arranged access to the old steel plant in Gadsden,
yes,
which still has some old, creepy, as you mentioned, some very old buildings out there that are just sitting empty. And the former Fort McClellan, to me, is an ideal place for especially some Walking Dead type shows, because there's so many abandoned old buildings there. When you ride around the old fort, there are apartment complexes that used to house military people that are just sitting there empty with trees growing through the middle of them nowadays. So imagine some of the creepy horror flicks you could shoot out in McClellan, and there's a lot of really nice other places as well that would work. Well,
McClellan basically now is divided into the National Guard section, which when the federal government bracked Fort McClellan, the National Guard got a portion of Main Post. They got Pelham Range and some other areas out there, and then they turned Buckner Circle, where the headquarters buildings were, over to the civilians, and they've really done a fantastic job out there of reusing those beautiful buildings.
Yeah.
On the other note, though, there was a lot of buildings that they just couldn't reuse for whatever purpose. Some of them were in too bad a repair or whatever, and they basically left those buildings. And we've had several meetings with the folks out there, how we can use the buildings. There's a demolition schedule for buildings out there, so there's probably some probability of, if we needed a disaster scene filmed or something like that, of burning or blowing some of those buildings up. Of course, you have to adhere to local regulations whenever you get into pyrotechnics and stuff like that. But there's fantastic places to film out there. The Starship Barracks are still there. That was the last barracks where they had trainees staying. They're concrete. They're in pretty good repair. I was out there touring not too long ago, and you could do a lot out there, and you could still film military movies out there because there's still a parade field, and there's still buildings out there that with the right shot groups and stuff like that, you could still use it as an active military installation from any era from the 80s all the way back. The National Guard side still has the older World War II wood, which if you wanted to film a World War I, II, all the way up to, say, Korea, you'd have a great backdrop out there for that.
Let's talk about financing. I think that's one of the main issues that filmmakers and any production company runs into. Even with the things that I do on TV, I've got some ideas that aren't getting off the ground because I don't have the money to make it happen. And it's the same thing with a lot of local area filmmakers. How do you go about getting that money? As part of your logistics service, are you able to hook people up with the financing people or the investors who want to invest in movies?
Well, I haven't gotten into that end of it yet. I've had some conversations with my personal bank about doing stuff that Black Creek Productions wants to do, or the production company that we're going to form in the next little while. I've had discussions about that, but I really don't want to get into financing myself. Now, there's several ways to get money for films. Of course, if you're independently wealthy or if you have resources, then you spend your own money and try to make it back on the back end. There's crowdfunding sources on the internet now, the crowdfunding and Kickstarter,
those kind of things.
All of those, and they just did something in Alabama where you can go use those resources better. There was some sort of stipulation, and I didn't read through it real quick a whole lot, but that is a good way to get funding. One of the things Black Creek's our production company, and we don't have a name for it yet, but one of the things we'll be looking at is product placement and location placement. The first movie that my son and I were in, a movie called Dixie Times, Ken Wheeler was the producer, director, writer of that. He actually got funding from Jack Daniels. He got funding from the people that make moon pies and Orange Crush because he featured them in his movie.
Right.
And that's a good way to get some funding for a movie. Location placement, basically you just write into a scene a particular business or entity, and a scene in the movie takes place in that, and they get some advertising. And of course they get credit at the end of the movie in the credits that roll. And I've already had a discussion with one of the car dealers in town. I've mentioned it I haven't spoken directly to the person who does the promotions for them, but I'm on her callback list. Yeah. But we'll be discussing that, and we are actually going to hold a fundraiser March the 22nd at Convention Hall, where we hope to raise enough money to shoot 2 movies in the area. A movie my son wrote called Releasing the Champ. He's did a pretty good job of writing a screenplay for someone who never wrote a screenplay before. And then we want to do a horror movie out at the steel plant, which me and you were discussing how well suited that was for a horror movie. We're gonna do those 2 movies, primarily being funded from that event in March 22nd. And at that event, we will have local talent, musical talent. We got a local comedian. We're going to have our local stunt guys do they're going to roll a car and they're going to do a body burn, which that's just about every action movie you see. Somebody comes out of a vehicle on fire and they're running around like this. So we're going to do that. We do have some local people in town who run a stunt camp. Pete and Conley Wilson is our local guy here in town. They're Screen Actor Guild stuntmen. They're certified. They're professionals. Don't try this at home, folks.
Yeah.
But they're going to put on a demonstration. We're going to try to have some fight demonstrations. But that's another way you can fund your picture. Getting back to the subject, that's another way you can fund your picture is fundraising. A group of people can go in together, and if they have the resources, one guy may have the cameras, one guy may have the sound equipment, guy may have the lights. You just get together and make your movie, and that's what I'm doing with Black Creek Productions, is bringing all these people together.
Right. And let's talk about the acting side of it as well. A database of not just of all of those logistical things that we've talked about, but there's a lot of people interested in acting, which is evidenced by the very strong local community theaters all over East Alabama.
Yes.
And so what do people need to do to get on your radar there so that they can find out when movies are being made or when there's a casting call?
If they email me at blackcreekproductions2@gmail.com, they will be on my database automatically. Everybody that is on my Gmail database will get a casting call or a notification of a meeting. We have a meeting tonight at Western Sizzler down in Rainbow City of people who have answered my ads and are interested. And it's unbelievable the amount of talent we have in this area. We actually have people from Gadsden who are in Hollywood now. And just from Alabama itself, we have Lucas Black. He was in Sling Blade and Fast and Furious. We have talented people in Alabama. And to make the transition from amateur to professional, I'm sure you got to pay your dues and stuff like that.
Right.
But you never know when you're just going to, out of left field, you're going to discover somebody. The movie Captain Phillips comes to mind. The Somali guy who played one of the pirates. Never been in a film or anything before in his life. He answered a casting call at the location where they were shooting, and he was a natural.
Yeah.
And I'm sure hidden away somewhere in Alabama, we've got some naturals, and we want to find them.
I'm sure we do. There are a lot of those around. So let's take a quick break right now, and when we come back, we will have the wrap up of today's show. So hang out with us as we continue with East Alabama Today. Welcome back in for our last couple of minutes of East Alabama Today. We've been visiting with Richard Evans of Black Creek Productions, talking about filmmaking in Alabama. And it's a very rich local community of filmmakers and people who are doing movies and TV shows in the local area. One of the best way to get in touch with you to find out more about what you're doing is your website, right?
That is correct.
Black Creek Productions, so people can go there, learn more about the details about what we've been talking about today, send you contact information on your contact page there, send you emails, and learn more. You mentioned a meeting that you're having tonight. These will be regular meetings of local filmmakers and people who are interested? Periodically,
we will have meetings just for interested parties who have answered our ads and our casting calls. These are folks who want to be involved in any shape, form, or fashion, from the acting all the way down to the logistics point. BlackCreekProductions.com. Now, there are another one or two Black Creek Productions, so if you pull it up, make sure you have the picture of Nakalula Falls or DeSoto Falls, and that's the one you're looking for. If you type us in on Google, we come up pretty quick. I got a social media guy that is a whiz, and he's got me right up there on the social media ladder, which I'm an old dog, and I was dragged kicking and screaming into the computer age a few years ago. But social media, to me, is just fantastic. It's a fantastic way to get things done. I got a Facebook page last year because I'm writing a book, and my publishing lady said, you need a Facebook page. Well, that fell in with Black Creek Productions, so I'm on Facebook as Richard Evans. I'm on Facebook as Black Creek Productions. And then, of course, there's all kind of links. I still don't understand all the linkage, but I know I get your stuff all the time, and I guess you get my stuff all the time.
Right.
So it works great. Social media is fantastic.
It is a great way to get get the word out about what you're doing. Also, don't forget March 22nd, again, Convention Hall.
Yes.
Is that correct? Is the big event?
Fundraiser.
Yeah, the big fundraiser.
It is called Gadsden Fund a Film Fest 14.
Fund a Film Fest 14. Okay.
Fund a Film Fest 14.
We'll be talking more about that as we get closer to that. Folks, thanks for joining us here on East Alabama Today. Richard, thank you for being with us as well. We enjoyed it. Get out and make a movie, have some fun, or be in a movie. We'll talk to you later
Come see
on
us.
East Alabama Today.